Hi everyone! So let's get started with this face here. And the first thing I like to do is not getting the jaw connected yet. I like to place the eyes nicely in my sculpture. And for doing this, I'm gonna get a little bit of clay. It's really important that any time that you're gonna use clay, before using it, you have to knead the clay a lot. You can use a pasta machine that makes it easier. If you're just going to use your fingers, you might get a little bit sore or with red fingers at the end, especially if you're using PV clay. It's a little bit harder than the other clays. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of clay here. Not a lot because I need to fit my eyes. So just enough that the eyes will be glued and not too much inside the cavity. So try to put the same amount here. You can always, you're gonna have to test it. You're gonna put it, and if it's too much, you take a little bit off. If it's not enough, you put a little bit more. It's not. With time, you kind of get used to the amount that you're gonna use it. It also depends on the person that you're making. Some people have the eyes a little bit more outside and some people more inside. But for this face that we're not really doing anybody, we're just gonna use the human proportions like average. So I'm gonna place it here and here. Don't forget that you can always make your own eyes, but we do have them available on the website if you don't want to make them. So I just placed them like I didn't really do anything here. And to place the eyes in the right human proportions, that is like average. If you're making someone, of course you have to check on this person that you're making, but if you're making just an average face, you want to try to go with the kind of average proportions, I guess. So for how much the eye goes out of the cavity, it's the same as this bone and this bone. So if you place a tool like this, connecting them two, the eye must be right in the center. So mine is a little bit out. I have to press it in a little bit until this tool is touching the eye and the bones. Now it is. You can see it's touching both. And here, you can use any tool that is flat here, that is straight. And here it's, yeah, now it's touching. Always look in this direction and this direction, this angle, I mean. I'm sorry about my English, I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. I hope you guys understand. So this angle gives you a good notion if the eyes are straight or not, and this one too, if they see they're both in the same direction and stuff. So after doing that, what is important for you, if you're not using a skull, a cranium, you're gonna use a tin foil. You're gonna make a ball, kind of like a egg shape. Try to copy the shape of a cranium and place the eyes. Look this angle to give the same depth for both. Pay attention in the symmetry. If you don't have the cranium, you're gonna struggle a little bit more to make it symmetrical because the cranium has already it's out there, right? The holes are there. You just place the eyes and it makes it so much easier. But let's keep on going. I don't want to make those videos too long and boring. You guys can always give me your opinion, of course. So depth, that's the first thing that is important with the eye. And the direction that these eyes are looking. First of all, they need both to look to the same direction. So if you're doing straight to the front, make sure that you're looking to the same direction. My eyes, these ones, I made it myself. They are not from the store. I kind of messed up the pupil here, so it might get kind of crossed eyes, but I don't have another one. This is my last pair of eyes, and I still didn't receive mine from the store, so I'm gonna use this one here. And then the direction. So if you want the eyes to be looking in to one side or the other, or up or down, you have to kind of share, you know, the eyes, the middle, the center of the eyes are in this bone here. So you see mine is going to be looking a little bit down if I put in here. So you can always place them up, lower, or higher. So I like to use silicone tools to move my eyes, to place them. So I think this one is kind of looking more this direction, this one is looking more straight, so I'm going to press in the center to make it look more, and maybe with my finger put a little bit here. And doing this here and there, we are gonna put the eyes looking straight. I think it's pretty good now, right? I'm not gonna go further here showing how we place the eyes if we are making a likeness, like if we're making a face that looks like somebody. This is gonna be, I'm gonna be doing an online course, so if you're interested in doing likeness, so join my online course. But you can always follow my page. I'm gonna put the link below here, this video. And in my page, I always put all the advertising for everything. And yeah, I think that's the best place to follow me. It's my Facebook page. Okay, so second thing that I do to finish, to do this face, once the eyes are placed, is I'm gonna connect the jaw on the skull. I use clay to do that. It's not a hard thing to do, so again, you have to really knead the clay to get it soft. And the reason that you really have to do it, it's to get all the air out of the clay, so this will avoid the moonies. Moonies are pretty common to happen in polymer clay if you don't get the air out of it. So make sure to always knead a lot, so that's not gonna happen, hopefully. It always can happen a little bit. So I'm gonna put a little bit of clay here, just enough to connect the jaw. Sometimes they send the skull with the just like a little metal connecting them already, but I always remove them because I usually work likeness and I like to pose my jaw according to the person that I'm making. So some people have it like more to the back, some people more to the front. For average, for like perfect teeth, the bottom one can stay a little bit behind the top one, like this. Let me see if you guys can see. Just the thickness of the teeth, the top teeth. So we put right behind the front teeth, like that, for average, for like a perfect smile. And then make sure that it's gonna go all the way inside the hole, so it doesn't get a straight bite here. Inside here, press it, and once you have them correct, then you can put more clay. You can fill up all this gap in the back. So right here, you fill it up, and this is going to make it feel like it's strong in the spot. You also, it depends on how you are making your face. If you want to open the mouth, you just open up here as much as you want and keep the clay in there. If you're gonna do it an open mouth though, before adding clay on top and before placing here, I like to make the tongue and bake it. So I paint the eyes, I paint the gum, I place a little tongue in there in the pose that I want the tongue to be, and then I bake it. And once it's baked, then I place it here and play around with how much I'm going to open the mouth. This one, we're just going to make it closed. And once you start playing around with the skeleton, you're going to get pretty comfortable with it. It's amazing to work with it. So when you're kneading clay, make sure to always have your hands clean. I know my thumb looks dirty, but this is just a medicine that I put it on, so it's just stain around my nail. It's not going to go in the clay. But make sure to have it clean to avoid get the clay dirty, and also avoid hair. So sweater that have like wool, avoid it, especially if it's black. because it can get in your clay and you don't want that. Okay, so I'm placing a little bit of more clay here on the sides, and when we're placing those clays here, also make sure that you're not gonna let air in between the resin. I was gonna say the bone, but it's not real bone. Between the resin and the clay, because this would also give munis in your clay. And okay, so we are ready now to put the skin on.